Join me as I take on the challenge of sharing how I survived the madness of medical school burnout. I remember it like it was yesterday, feeling like I was drowning in a sea of textbooks, lectures, and exams. The pressure to perform, the long hours, the constant stress, it was all taking a toll on my mental and physical health. That's why I want to talk about medical school burnout, because I know I'm not alone and I want to help you. My fellow aspiring medical professionals, avoid the mistakes I made and prioritize your well-being. I was exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally. I was constantly tired, even after sleeping for 12 hours a night. I was irritable, moody, and short-tempered. I was stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. And to make matters worse, I was losing motivation. I felt like I was just going through the motions without any sense of purpose or passion. I was a zombie, just trying to survive each day without any energy or enthusiasm to live life to the fullest. The exhaustion was so bad that I would fall asleep anywhere, anytime. I'd be in class and my head would just nod off even in the middle of a lecture. I'd be studying and my eyes would start to droop, and before I knew it, I'd be out cold. I was like a walking dead, just trying to make it through each day without any sense of joy or fulfillment. Looking back, I realized that I was stuck in a vicious cycle of burnout, and I didn't know how to escape. I was so focused on getting through medical school that I neglected my own well-being, and it almost cost me my sanity. Medical school was a roller coaster ride of emotions, challenges, and experiences. There were moments of pure joy, like when I delivered my first baby, or when I saw a patient recover from a life-threatening illness. But there were also moments of pure despair, like when I failed an exam, or when I had to deal with a difficult patient. It was a constant up and down, and it took a toll on my mental health. One of the biggest challenges I faced was the pressure to perform. I felt like I had to be perfect, like I had to ace every exam and know every answer. I felt like I was in a constant competition with my peers, and it was exhausting. I remember staying up late at night studying for hours just trying to keep up with the workload. And even when I did well, I never felt like it was enough, like I was always one step behind. Another challenge I faced was the lack of support. I felt like I was alone in my struggles, like no one else was going through what I was going through. I felt like I was a failure, like I was the only one who didn't have their life together. It was a lonely, isolating experience, and it made me feel like I was drowning in my own anxiety and depression. But then, something changed. I realized that I couldn't do it alone, that I needed help, support, and guidance. I realized that I didn't have to be a superhero, that it was okay to ask for help, to admit that I was struggling. And that's when I started to take small steps towards recovery, towards healing, towards finding my way back to myself. I started by taking care of my physical health, by exercising regularly, eating well, and getting enough sleep. I started by taking breaks, by giving myself permission to rest, to relax, and to recharge. I started by seeking help, by talking to my friends, my family, and my mentors about my struggles. And slowly but surely, I started to feel like myself again, like I was coming back to life. The moment I realized I was burned out was a turning point for me. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, like I had finally admitted the truth to myself. It was liberating, empowering, and freeing. I realized that I didn't have to be a martyr, that I didn't have to suffer in silence. I realized that I deserved to be happy, to be healthy, and to be whole. One of the most important lessons I learned from my experience is that mental health matters. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to hide. It's not something to ignore. It's something to be proud of, something to prioritize, something to celebrate. I learned that taking care of my mental health is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's a sign of courage, and it's a sign of resilience. So to all my fellow aspiring medical professionals out there, I want to encourage you to prioritize your mental health, to take care of yourselves, to seek help when you need it. Don't be afraid to admit that you're struggling. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to take breaks. You are not alone, and you are not weak. You are strong, you are capable, and you are deserving of a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you've experienced medical school burnout, or if you're currently going through it, I want to hear from you in the comments below. What was your experience like? How did you overcome?